Hi, welcome to the San Antonio Book Festival event with NoNieqa Ramos and Jacqueline Alcantara. NoNieqa is an educator and author of the acclaimed young adult novels, The Disturbed Girls Dictionary and The Truth Is. You might find NoNieqa salsa dancing with her soulmate and her children in Virginia. And you'll also see that NoNieqa is sharing the screen with the illustrator of Your Mama, their new picture book, and that illustrator's name is Jacqueline Alcantara. And she has also illustrated previous picture books, some of which are titled The Field and Freedom Soup. Her favorite days are spent drawing, painting, writing, and walking her dog. In 2016, she was awarded the first We Need Diverse Books Illustrator Mentorship. Find out more about her at jacquelinealcantara.com. Your Mama is such a great book. Usually when you hear someone say Your Mama, they're not saying something nice, but NoNieqa and Jacqueline turned that saying into something really positive and meaningful. We hope you enjoy this event.
Hello, my name is NoNieqa Ramos. I speak English. I am learning Spanish. Hola, me llamo NoNieqa. Yo hablo inglés y estoy aprendiendo español. Vivo en Virginia, pero viví en San Antonio. Mi hijo y yo solíamos al Museo Witty y al Teatro Mágico. I like to write stories and poetry. What do you like to write? Me gusta escribir cuentos y poesía. ¿Qué les gusta escribir a ustedes? I wrote a book called Your Mama, and that's what we're here today to talk about. Escribí un libro que se llama Your Mama, and my friend Jackie Alcantara created the beautiful illustrations. Mi amiga Jackie Alcantara creó las hermosas ilustraciones. It's a picture book about how special mamas are. Es un libro acerca de cómo las mamás son especiales. So what do you love about your mama? ¿Qué te gusta tu mamá? What does your mama love about you? ¿Y qué le gusta a tu mamá de ti? Now I'm so excited because I'm going to read a few pages of our book. Ahora voy a empezar a leer la historia. So un momento while I change my screen to share with you. And this is the gorgeous cover created by Jackie, Your Mama. And Your Mama is so amazing. She deserves her own book of appreciation. This book is a twist on the classic Your Mama joke with a mix of Spanish and English. And it's all about the mad love and respect between kids and those hardworking mamas everywhere. Look at this gorgeous picture here, right underneath the cover. Oh, the gold hoop earrings and the roses. Your mama's so sweet, she could be a bakery, all frosting, powdered sugar, and pastries. Leaves love notes in your almuerzo, homemade. She's the cinnamon to your tembleque, the tres leches to your cake. Your mama's so strong, she like a Marine. Up 3 flights of stairs, carries the groceries. When you both had that fever, carried you to emergency. Your mama, dressed so fine, she could have her own clothing line. The way she walks into a room, shoo, she's an ad for fancy perfume. Nobody could walk in her high heel shoes. Your mama's so forgiving, she lets you keep on living. That's why you couldn't help messing with the makeup she keeps in her purse. You want to look just like her. But sometimes your mama's cray-cray, but she's gonna be okay. she can get her hair done another day. I mean, it's been years since she's gone to the bathroom on her own or heard anything anybody's saying on the phone. Wouldn't it be nice to have couches that weren't trampolines? Hey, a mama can dream, but she wouldn't change a thing. And that's where I'll stop. Come back to you. And this is where we get to hear all the magic in those beautiful illustrations from Jackie.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for inviting us. We're super happy to be here. As NoNieqa said, I'm the illustrator. My name is Jackie Alcantara. On the book, it says Jacqueline, but you guys can call me Jackie. So some of the pictures that we just saw are actually a little bit earlier versions of the illustrations. So when you guys see the final version of the book, you're probably going to see a couple differences. So one of the pages actually looks like this in the end that we just saw, and the final page we just saw is going to look more like this. But books are a process to make, so those were some early versions of the artwork. But I thought that I would share with you guys today a bit about my process. So how I start my ideas, how I start my drawings, how I do some of my sketches, and I have a couple short little videos that kind of show you how I make an illustration. So I'm going to share my screen so that I can share some pictures with you all. And then I will share some of the materials. Maybe you guys can guess when you're looking at this stuff, try to guess how you think I make my artwork. What materials do I use? So you guys can see my screen, right? Okay. Whoops, wait. You're not supposed to see that yet. What's going on here?
I know you're working through, but I am amazed at seeing this. I've never got to see the initial sketches.
Wait, I don't know. Why can you see? Oops. Okay, well, here's some initial sketches. We'll just go through it together. So I always start by drawing a lot of people. I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of different people. So the top drawing is one of my friends and her daughters. And I love all of the mama and kid selfies that I see on Instagram. I'm always so jealous. So I took a lot of drawings and a lot of inspiration from that. I love to draw people dancing. So I drew a lot of people dancing. These are some artists. Oh, I think one of them is kind of behind there, but maybe you guys know some of these artists. There's Rosalia that I drew a lot. I drew a lot of Selena, and I drew a lot of other people, but actually the image is a little bit behind and I can't fix it right now. But anyways, then I draw a lot of objects and I try to decide what these characters' outfits and personalities are going to be. So I just let my imagination go wild and I let my brain and my hand just talk, and I just sketch. So I just drew some boots. I don't know why I drew a chicken. I drew some other shoes. I drew a rose, and I kind of start to see my ideas come together. And then, let's see here. I don't think this is working as I planned, so I'm just going to do this if that's okay. And then I try to draw ideas for each page. So I draw really quick ideas and draw on the page anything that comes to mind. So you see how quick this sketch is. It's just a little teeny tiny drawing, but it's called a thumbnail because you could do your first sketches almost the size of your thumb. So these are called thumbnail sketches. So then when I have my ideas that I really like, then I'll start to draw it a little bit better. So you could see the people are a little bit more put together. We see some more shadows. We get a better idea of what the illustration is going to look like. And then I bring in some text to kind of see how it's all going to look, because our end product is a book, right? So we can't forget that we're going to have words and pictures all together. So I try to put everything on the page and see how it all all looks when it's all together. We see that coming together. So I'm going to show you guys a page that NoNieqa didn't show you yet, but you could see it here for the first time. So this is one of the pages more in the middle of the book. NoNieqa, do you remember what it says on this page? Should we read it for them? I'll hold it up for you. Actually, I'll just read it because I have it here. Is that okay? Okay. Where is it? One of my favorites. Your mama's so woke? She gonna stand by and watch injustice? Nope. She takes all you kids when she votes. With posters homemade, she marches in every parade. So that's that page, another little sneak preview. So now I'm gonna show you guys a couple videos. So you're supposed to be guessing what kind of materials I used to make all of this artwork, right? So here's a couple of videos that I'm going to show you about my whole. So here, maybe you guys are guessing already, but I start with a pencil outline. So just a mechanical pencil or any kind of pencil like you guys use at home. So here goes. This isn't obviously in fast forward. I don't draw this fast. But for this book, I did a little bit of a different process than I normally do. So since I wanted to have kind of a tattoo inspiration, I did a really heavy line in marker, in these pens actually, over the top of all of my pencils. And then I start to fill it in with marker. So these are all of the markers. Well, I have a lot of markers here, as you guys can see, and even more behind my desk. But markers kind of work like a watercolor. You have to put layer and layer and layer and layer on top of each other. And the color builds and builds and builds until it gets really, really vibrant. And I particularly love using markers for skin and for clothing, for fabric. They're really, really great for those parts of your drawings. So still putting some marker in. It takes a long time. I know it looks in this video like it doesn't take me very long to do an illustration, but I guarantee you it takes a lot longer than you think. So I'm filling in all the little spots here. And what else? Adding in lots of little details so that we make sure different parts of the drawing pop out at us. So we get to see the beautiful red hearts in the background that also match the mama's lips, right? We have to figure out where we're going to put the color on the page that's going to kind of help whoever's reading the book look at the parts of the drawing that we want them to look at. And one way we could do that is deciding where we want to put our color. So that's why I gave our mama beautiful red lipstick, some awesome boots, big, beautiful hair. And in the backgrounds, I tried to use a lot of the same colors to kind of help bring those pieces of the illustration out. So maybe you guys remember seeing this when NoNieqa read the book, but this doesn't look like the final image. So what I do next is I scan it into the computer. And then for this book, to get a texture that I want it to kind of look like the old school tattoo art, I decided I would get really messy and I would take a bunch of pastels, and I made a bunch of different color pastel backgrounds. And then I scanned those in. So basically I took a big picture of all of these different pages that you see here, and there was even more. And then I combined them in a program called Photoshop. So I put that marker drawing on top of a pastel in my computer. And then voila, you have the final image. And I'll show you guys the page again, even though you already saw it. Why not see it one more time until you get the book in your hands? So here's that page. See? So that's a bit about how I make my illustrations. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so we can chat with NoNieqa again.
Hey,
what did you think, NoNieqa? Did anything surprise you?
I'm just in awe of your process. It's just amazing, like what a connection you can make in this. This is a new partnership for me. Jackie, you have numerous astounding books that I've admired for years. And this is my first experience in the picture book world. So actually seeing into the process that you and I were engaging in our separate worlds was really, really interesting. And I actually was thinking that I would read a page that I didn't read, and that maybe the kids who are listening can envision what they would draw or what you would draw, knowing that they've seen how you draw in their minds, because that was so vibrant.
Love that idea.
Yeah, you inspired me. And I'm thinking, let's have them imagine. So if you are in the audience right now in a nice cozy spot, I'm going to read you a couple of pages, and then I kind of want you to think about how Jackie draws things, and how maybe you would draw it and what you would put in your picture. So here I go. On the next page. Your mama, a brainiac, mo better than any app. A drone, she'll teach you to work it from her phone. Got math problems? She could solve them. So what do you envision there? In that picture, what would you draw to show how smart your mama is? A time when your mama helped you with a project, helped you with something in school or on a team. I know in our house over the pandemic, we did some science experiments in the kitchen, and every family is different, and how it is that they have been living through our pandemic and coming up with creative ways to do it. So what's a moment you had with your caregiver that you could think of? And then I'm going to move on to the next page. Plus, you're both library VIPs because she knows everything about everything. She's your A-team. So there, maybe you can think about in your mind with the markers or the crayons or the pencils, the materials that are in your mind, what would you draw there? When is a time when maybe your mama or your caregiver, for me, it was my papi, because I was raised by my dad. So whoever that person is, what have they read to you that you remember that's super, super special? And I'll end with the last page. By the way, not the last page of the book, but the last page I'll read today. By the way, how does your mama know everything? Woman catches all your vibes, must read minds. And I know that's a special power of titis and abuelas, grandmothers and aunties too.
So can I add something in for that page? I know we're not going to show them the artwork, but that page is very special to me also. Yes. Because I put in one of my very favorite moments with my mom on that page. So when you guys get to see the book, you'll see why, or maybe you'll see why, but my mama always read my mind. I don't know how. And every year she was able to surprise me with an outfit at a certain time of year that I don't know how she came up with it, but she always knew what I wanted to wear and she would make it for me. She would hand make it for me. So what's a special time of year where maybe you get an outfit that you don't normally get to wear? So that was definitely a ode to my mama, that page. I'm glad you ended there, NoNieqa. That was good.
I love that you're telling me this. This is just so beautiful. Yeah, I want to talk about, it's the opening page, and I do want to talk about the Your Mama's So Sweet page, because when you're talking, it made me reflect to a moment like that. And all of us have those special, unique moments. So with my dad, with the Your Mama's So Sweet, I was supposed to do chores. I guess maybe I was like 10. And I had a dad who worked a lot, like 2 jobs. So he had expectations that we would get things done, like fold the laundry and things like that. And he came home and I knew I didn't do the chores. I knew I didn't do them. And so he said in a very stern voice, you need to go get, I'll remember this forever, the basket of laundry. You need to fold the clothes. And I want to kind of come back to the special time of year, as you were mentioning. The special time of year, it was Valentine's Day. And in school, we used to celebrate Valentine's Day by exchanging Valentines. So I got the laundry basket and was grumpy and stomping around. And I pulled the upper layer of laundry out. Underneath was a giant Valentine heart filled with chocolate candies for me and for my sister. It's really funny. So yes, and aww, to this day, I just got, and I want to tell you, kids, in many days since I've been 10, we got a Valentine here on Valentine's Day for my papi, because he doesn't forget. So that was my oh, your page made me think
that's
of.
That's so cute.
Yeah, exactly. Like just these, that's why this is like, I'd rather tell everybody out there, some of us do have extraordinary, fabulous mommies who are mommies, and some of us, our grandmothers raised us, and so on and so on. So when we, Jackie and I made this book, we made it with like Jackie's special moments with her mom in mind. And then I was thinking of my dad and my tias. And so that's why I felt like, hi, this is a celebration of people who take care of us, is how I think about when I look at your drawings, Jackie.
Absolutely. And I took moments from my mom, but also from my aunts, from my grandmothers, because we're raised by so many people, right? So we can have those feelings for so many people. Our moms will always be very, very special to us, and like nobody else in our lives, but that might be a different person for you. Doesn't necessarily have to be a mama.
Yeah. And so Jackie, can I ask you a couple of questions about the drawings? I would love to know.
Go for it.
Yeah, one of my favorite, it's like I keep saying favorite, but that's not true because they're all my favorite. And that's with your mama dressed so fine. So let me backtrack. The fashion in this book is off the hook. You know, it really, really is. And I want to reproduce the clothing for myself. So I want to go back.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, I was like, I'm going to put boots in this book that I want. And so maybe I can buy them for myself when I have to do visits. It's an excuse, right? We could both buy all the outfits and now we have a reason to. We don't have to feel bad.
That's exactly it. I was like, where can I find this gold toned dress? So like, that's what I wanted to know. I want you to get like the boots. I was searching online. I'm like, is there a way for me to have these rose colored boots and all of these things? The mamas out there and the tias and all that, you're going to love looking at the clothes. And for me too, what I loved about what Jackie created on her side of things was really honoring the kinds of women that I grew up around. You know, there's, this made me think of my, you know, my tias dressing up to go out, to go dancing, you know, or to, you know, just taking the time to take care of themselves. And so I love that Jackie's drawings really communicate what I wanted to communicate, which is to take care of the mamas, the self-care for the mamas, the time for the, you know, the mamas, that this mom is doing all the things and also looking so lovely. Like, that's what I really loved about your flow. when you came up with this, yeah, there are moments where we're under the pillow, but there are also these moments where this mom is herself, you know, she's just in her vibe. And so I don't know anybody else, Jackie, who I admire it so much because you do it on every page.
Oh, thank you. I think that it's also like, at least for me, reflecting on my mom, that, you know, my mom isn't super glamorous. So that was probably, you know, she came through on a sewing page. On the baking page, that is all my mom. On that first page, that is her. And we would, you know, lick all of the cookie dough. She let us lick all of the cake batter. That's my mama. She would take us to protests. She would take us to rallies. She would cook. I mean, just, you know, but I have to say, I mean, she's beautiful, but she's not super like glam, you know? So that inspiration might have come from a few other people. But I think that in our minds as kids, our mamas are like just amazing and heroes, and how do they do all this stuff? And now as a even older, I look back on it and I'm like, I don't know how you juggle all of those things. So it was important for me to show that, you know, I guess a strong, beautiful, intelligent, courageous mama, all of those things were equally important, I think, even the beauty aspect, because I feel like even we look at our mamas with so much love and admiration. So for me, the beauty aspect kind of comes in different ways, I think, from the child's perspective and from the actual taking the time to take care of yourself is equally as important.
Yeah, and when you're talking also, because again, many of my reflections will come back to my father. You know, I admired him when he put on his dress shirt. He was so handsome, you know, he put on his cologne. Our parents are like kings and queens to us, you know. And I admired him when he was tearing apart, dropping ceilings, you know, in the house, and paint splattered from his eyebrows down to his feet, you know, and he's measuring and creating. And it's, you know, so similar to what you're saying in that all of it's beautiful, all those dynamics. And I also kind of want to jump for a second, because we were talking about all the things our parents, our mamas do. I really loved it's a scene later on in the book where there's a big party. And I wondered if you could talk a little bit about your inspiration for that scene. For me, when it's talking about what moms celebrate, I appreciated your including the barbecue, because the barbecue and the backyard barbecue was a huge center for us as kids, and the cousins getting together and the family being together. And I loved how you captured that in the book.
Yeah, food and family parties are a big part of how my family gets together and celebrates. And, you know, so whether that's inside dancing, you know, like my parents, I mean, they stay up late dancing. Like they're up like till like 3 a.m. dancing. And so whether it's inside dancing or outside grilling or on the beach doing a barbecue, or just, you know, all laying under the stars together, like getting together and having family parties and family gatherings is a big part of what's important to us and how we spend time together. So I knew there had to be a big party scene in it.
Yeah.
And you gave me the perfect words to do so. Can I ask you a quick question, NoNieqa?
Yes.
I'm wondering how many drafts of this book did you have to do, or did you write before you kind of settled on, before you were happy with it?
So before I answer this, please let me tell you, I've been working on my craft for decades. So this answer, I don't want it to sound flippant, because I've been working on trying to, not master, I feel like that's a lifelong thing, but work on my picture book writing and poetry skills and continue to do so. But this was actually a very fast draft, because I spent time envisioning first. And so much like perhaps the artistic concept, I let it sort of plant its seeds first. I said to myself, what could I do with a fresh perspective? It actually was almost like a homework assignment I gave myself after studying other writers. I said, I'd like to approach a concept from a very unexpected perspective. And it popped into my head. Wouldn't it be funny if somebody took your mama jokes, but used them to honor mamas? What, could I do that? Would somebody let me? And Kwame let me do that. And so, yeah, I just think it's hilarious when I was thinking about those things in life which you're proud of, but also make you laugh. I'm like, I am sitting here as somebody who grew up in the Bronx, and I wrote a picture book based on your mama. But to wrap that up. If to wrap it up, so when the original verse was written, it's very close to what it is now. I did try to start making it into a traditional narrative, and that's where I started going off the road. So when I came back to keeping it the way that I think it's best amplifies the message, which is in its own kind of rhythmic verse, that's what you have today. And so, yeah. this took a little bit less time. I feel like the voices of the people I grew up with in the Bronx were speaking to me for decades, though, to make this book.
Yeah. So if you are talking to a bunch of little writers out there, I think it's interesting what you said about really trusting your own voice, and how you write something down the first time is something that's really important. The way we all tell stories is going to be different from one another, right? And to trust that your story is going to come out best if you write it. Do you have any other tips for little writers, future writers?
I love that. I think that this is a time to play. And sometimes we think about playing outside or on the playground, and that's absolutely right. But we also play on paper. And when we play on paper, that's with pencils and words, and that's on laptops, and that's with markers, and all of that is your imagination. And the reason that I'm here and I get to be here with Jackie talking about this is because I let myself play, and I didn't let being scared stop me from saying the words that I thought were the words of my heart.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love to play. I try to bring that with me every day when I come into my studio, and make sure that I give myself time, at least a little bit of dedicated time, to just play and have fun, because we have the best jobs ever, right, NoNieqa? We get to make amazing books and amazing stories. So
yes. And we get to
gotta keep it fun.
Yep, absolutely. We are so excited to be here at the San Antonio Book Festival. And if you'd like to connect with Jackie and me outside of this, you can find us both on Twitter, on our respective websites. Jackie, I don't know if you want to jump in with your website. Mine is my name that's on the screen. NoNieqa Ramos will help you find me on the website or on Twitter. And I'd love to connect with you and to see what you think about your mama.
Absolutely, same. Mine's just my full name, JacquelineAlcantara.com. I'm on Instagram, Twitter, God knows where else.
And we can't wait to see you all in person. I think that's where we'll close out, and the day where we'll get to come and read this book with you. But we'd also love to come see you at your schools virtually until the world gets a little bit safer. So stay safe and write and play.
Signing out. Hope to see you all soon. Bye.